Hello, I'm David Sand, CEO of Uwin Iwin International. This is the first breakfast show of the year, and as my guest today, I have Hatton, and we're going to have some fun talking about some cool stuff that you are involved in, and really looking forward to that special insight that you always bring to the conversation.
Thanks, David. It's wonderful to be here, and we've been planning this for a while, and now it's actually happening, and I'm looking forward to the conversation.
So let's jump straight into it. Ian, you are a conscious leadership expert. You are the creator of a concept called Lead Like Morpheus. In addition, you have a master's degree in organizational leadership and a dear friend, and much more.
That's the important bit.
The friend and the much more.
Both of them.
My first question, give us a little bit of the backstory to Leading Like Morpheus.
Well, yeah, it's all about the name Morpheus. Where did that come from? And then the whole process of getting to that concept of leading like Morpheus. So it started back in 2004. Me and a group of friends, we were getting together and we were kind of going, who are we mythically or mystically? And there's kind of very sort of esoterical, what is it all about? And it leads to purpose. And, do we have a mythical name or a mystical name? And we kind of went around, we took a couple of weeks and we got back together. And of course, one person came up and said, you Galadriel, from the Lord of the Rings, or
Yes.
Gandalf from the Lord of the Rings. And
Yes.
another one was River from the Serenity series, which,
Okay.
anything about that, that's a scary person. And
Okay.
this is my best friend's wife, who is an incredible person in terms of loyal, but mess with her people and you're dead.
Okay.
So they got to me and they said, so Ian, who do you think you are? And I went, I have no idea. I've been thinking about it. Nothing's coming up for me. Nothing's sitting with me. And River turned to me and said, but it's obvious. And I said, what do you mean it's obvious? She said, but you are Morpheus. And I went, I wish I was Morpheus. I could never be Morpheus. And she said, no, you are Morpheus. And the others looked up and said, yeah, you are Morpheus.
From the Matrix, right?
Well, actually, it starts before that.
Okay.
Morpheus was the Greek god of dreams,
Okay.
the one who awakens dreams in others.
Ah.
And then there was Neil Gaiman wrote a comic series called The Sandman, and the lead character was Morpheus, again, the one who awakens dreams. And the Sandman character, they say, is the one that the Matrix character was based on. And yes, the Matrix one, obviously, not the hero, but the one who raises up the hero, not the political leader or the military leader, but the one who challenges both of those thinkings, and also the one who believes when everybody else has stopped believing.
Ian, sorry to interrupt
Yeah.
you, that my nickname is the Sandman.
Of course. So there we go. So
Another link.
another
connection.
link. There we go.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so I came to grow into that. That is who I really am.
Oh, fantastic.
Now, the lead like Morpheus bit, that's another development. I left the corporate world a couple of years before this, about 2002. And I had this idea, authentic leadership. I'm going to go and change the world. I'd seen how leadership was done poorly in the corporate world, including my own.
Yep.
And I now had the solution, master's degree. I can go and change the world. And the result was I then went on a journey and built a business. And eventually everything crumbled. And it crumbled for a very simple reason. I hadn't done the inner work. And so in 2011, I had a triple crisis. I went through a divorce. I sold my business, my shares of my business, and I left my spiritual community. And I, for the first time, realized the real thing about authentic leadership starts with self.
Right.
And that was my Morpheus moment for myself, where I awoke to what world is really all about.
Wow. Mm-hmm. There's so much talk about the Matrix at the moment. Andrew Tate, one of the biggest influencers in the world on Instagram and other circles, talks about the Matrix continuously. Is there a connection It's freeing oneself.
Absolutely. It's all about liberty. It's all about awakening to what's really happening in the world. I'm not saying that I'm a fan of his. Of course, he's a big influencer around the world. I'm not sure there's a complete values alignment there, but certainly there's a lot going on that we are asleep to, and especially in the corporate world. And I think it's time for leaders to wake up to being conscious of themselves, conscious of their surroundings, conscious of their people. And so waking up and getting out of the matrix and then going back and influencing into the matrix, that's kind of my world.
So Ian, my next question to you is, how important is recognition and reward? That's my world.
Yes.
For conscious leadership.
Yes. Great question. And in fact, there's been a movement which is almost trying to contradict your world. A movement which says, no, true motivation always comes from within. It's not based on external rewards. However, I can cite example after example in my own experience where it's a tool to help leaders. And so I remember, for example, before I worked for Microsoft, we ran a really big reward incentive in the company that I worked for, and we aced it. We totally nailed all the opposition. We got it, massive returns and all the rest of it. And reflecting back, it was a sense of recognition for people's hard work, a sense of recognition for their competencies, and it really connected with the inner motivation. So I've moved away from the sort of thinking that an external motivator is divorced from an internal motivator. I actually think people long for a wonderful holiday. They long for an upgrade to something in their home or whatever it might be. And so I think it far exceeds the sort of, traditional, we'll give you a bonus in a few months' time kind of thing. There's something about that is actually a leadership tool where leaders can use it to create that connection with those internal motivators. So to me, it's not divorced at all.
Ian, I love what you say about it being a great management tool. But there are, in my opinion, reward programs and recognition programs that are either surface or vanilla and deeper. Talk to us about the authenticity aspect.
So it's very interesting. The concept of conscious leadership starts with a consciousness of self, because as we become aware of our own humanity, what we need, what motivates us, then we realize, well, uniquely, there are different things that motivate other people, and we want to connect with our people's humanity. Remember that leadership and influence is about influencing people. And so we want to connect with what they want. And so I would say that an ideal reward and recognition program is where we're recognizing people's humanity, we're recognizing their efforts, and we're tuning in to what they want.
Yes.
And leaders who tune in to what their people want can then create these systems to support the leadership that they're bringing.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. And really that's the kernel of this. Consciousness has to be authentic self, but with the person that you're talking to or the wider audience, if you're dealing with a bigger structure.
Yes.
And you have to really be listening.
Yes.
In order to serve in an authentic way and create the right rewards program to then elevate everybody's game.
Exactly. So it's really that engagement with the people. We want our people to feel heard. And when they feel heard and we recognize their uniqueness that they're bringing, we recognize their home situations, we recognize their humanity. We're looking at the moment and we're seeing some really interesting things. The instances of mental health issues in the workplace have risen dramatically over the last few years. And I think partially we're more aware and partially they have genuinely risen. And when we're tuning into what people really want, the negative and the desires, those things that they really are dreaming about, that's when we can create leadership that supports it and reward and recognition that makes them feel heard and seen.
What would you say to management leadership out there? What are some of the top 2-3 things that for 2023, please be more aware of, make a bigger effort in?
For me, in the conscious leadership space, it starts with self. You cannot give to others what you haven't nurtured in yourself. And so the number one thing is make yourself your number one job every day. And that sounds so difficult as we think, no, but we're supposed to be servant leaders. We're supposed to be sacrificing ourselves. No, no, no. We're supposed to be nurturing in ourselves that which we want to give to others. And so make yourself your number one job every day. From that, you will become so much more aware of the humanity and genius in each of your people. Because now you'll be able to see them more clearly, and you'll be able to bring what you've nurtured to them. And then finally, this awareness of where we are in the world, coming out of the lockdown situation, moving into hybrid workspaces, which, by the way, is the most desirable. The research has come out very clearly that work from home completely and work at the office completely, neither of them are what people want. People want a hybrid kind of thing. And so to lead hybridly, we need the hearts of people, and we need to be taking care of their humanity and their professional side.
Ian Hatton, thank you for being on The Breakfast Show. It's been an absolute pleasure. And thank you for those nuggets of wisdom. Really appreciate you.
Thank you, David. It's always a pleasure being with you.